USC has their out-of-conference schedule. It's all set up. They left no margin for error. If the Trojans are not 3-0 before they head to Rutgers, then Lincoln Riley, he needs to have an uncomfortable conversation with Jen Cohen. We're going to talk about that on this episode of Locked On USC.
You are Locked On USC, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone, and welcome to Locked On USC, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is also the #1 sports podcast network. So whether you're watching the show on YouTube, wherever you want to download this podcast, you pick the platform. This show is going to be free, and this show will always appreciate your support. Hey, you can have your cake and drink it too. Birthday cake flavor is back. No fork needed. Vanilla-y, cakey flavor, caffeinated kick, and no sugar. It's party time. Order now at 5hourenergy.com or go to Amazon. All right. Welcome back to another episode of Locked On USC. I am your host, Marc, credentialed media member. And when I'm not hanging out here, I'm writing some articles over there at wersc.com. That's Kendall Hollowell, also a credentialed media member. When he's not helping me out here on the show, he's over there at USC on SI. The last time Kendall was here, had a really fun, spirited debate.
Yeah.
This time he's here to talk football. Kendall, clear the air. There was no beef. You were load managing, right?
Oh my goodness. No. So you made me aware when we talked on Friday after hearing that all the assistant coaches talked, and
Right.
apparently, yeah, you made it known to me. Apparently, some people thought we had like a little bit of beef because of our last conversation. It was because that was a while ago. And one, I was happy that not that people thought that, but that you told me that, because like that happened like late in our segment. So like that people, so that makes me happy that people are watching all the way through, because that was like 35-40 minutes into the discussion. So I'm glad that people are actually like kind of going through it and just letting it play and listening to us. So I'm always grateful for that.
People were watching that long because you were here, so thank you.
I appreciate that. No, we do a good job together. But no, just to know that if people don't know already, that I also work for the NFL Network. So I work in production for them. And obviously playoff time, Super Bowl time. So that kind of got kind of busy and stuff like that. So like kind of takes all my time. Anytime for people to know, anytime I'm not with USC or I'm not at something, it's because I'm at something for the NFL Network, or I'm, right. So like the schedules obviously go together, right? It's NFL, it's college, like they're obviously intertwined and stuff like that. So anytime you don't see me except for USC, that's because of that. That's why. But no, all good. I thought that was hilarious when you said that to me.
Yeah. When the show was over, everybody, Kendall and I, we went out to the bike racks and we settled it there.
We had to. Yeah, the screens weren't enough.
All right. So on yesterday's episode, Kendall, I ranked USC's defensive units going into spring camp. And if any of my everydayers, if anybody missed it, shame on you. If you're not a subscriber to the show yet on YouTube, right now, do it. Click that red subscribe button, smash that thumbs up, click the bell notification. That way you'll never miss an episode. But Kendall, we're going to talk about the offensive power rankings in the second segment.
Are you going to give us your defense ratings? Are you going to go over those real quick? Because I'm actually kind of curious now.
Sure. Real quick. So I had defensive line as the strength.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I had linebackers second.
That is a surprise from you. I was not expecting that one.
Neither was I.
Yeah.
When I started to break down and peel the layers back a little bit, it's like, all right, this makes sense.
Yeah.
And then I went cornerbacks, and then I went safeties.
What is it?
Let's hold that conversation to the second segment.
I got you. Yeah.
In the first segment, I want to talk to you about USC's finally completed non-conference schedule. All right. USC is going to be hosting San Jose State actually for the second time during the Lincoln Riley era. Back when they met the first time in 2023, USC spanked them. It was like 56-28. Caleb Williams had a huge game. Zachariah Branch looked like he was going to be one of USC's next Heisman winners. But with the announcement that USC is going to be playing San Jose State, now you have a non-conference schedule of San Jose State, Fresno State, and Louisiana. And that's before USC starts their conference schedule in New Jersey against Rutgers.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, what are your thoughts on USC's non-conference schedule?
If I'm being honest, I
Please.
really hate it. This is not a USC thing. It's a college football scheduling thing in general. I absolutely hate that. Again, if other teams are going to do it, then you can't get mad at USC for doing it, or right? Ohio State's been doing it like this, or Oregon's been doing it like this. All the premier brands, right? They're all doing. They're playing these. Obviously, Ohio State played Texas this past year, and they'll play again. But just talk about a couple years ago. But some of these other bigger teams, they're playing bad non-conference games, right? Because, frankly, I mean, look, you are getting penalized for them, right? That's the thing with the committee. They are penalizing people for it, but you shouldn't. I think it's egregious that you play 3 Group of 5 schools. I think that you should be playing 2 Power 5. I've always said this. I think you should be playing 2 Power 4 games, and then you can have whoever, right? A group of 5. So you can play whoever you want for that third one. But I think everybody should be playing that schedule, not just USC, not just whoever insert there. Everybody should be playing that schedule. I think that's how it should be. I think the way that basketball does it, where they do it's like the Maui tournaments and all those ones where you end up, you're the top ACC team, you end up playing, the top Big 12 or Big 10 or whatever. They play each other, and it's decided really that year going in, instead of these games are scheduled out into 2033, which is absolutely ridiculous. I think it should be like that. That's always my feeling on scheduling. It should be balanced. It's nowhere close to that.
I agree with you, and I'm gonna circle back to your point here in just a moment. But I wanted to put USC's out of conference schedule in context with the other Western schools in the Big Ten Conference. So USC, they're hosting San Jose State. Their toughest game will be Fresno State, at least on paper. Yeah. And then they've got Louisiana to round out their 3 out of conference games. UCLA, they're playing Cal, San Diego State, Nevada. That's a decent out of conference schedule. Oregon, Boise State. Go ahead.
They're pretty close. Obviously, Cal's a ACC school, but still pretty close.
Right. Oregon, they're hosting Boise. They're going to go play at Oklahoma State, and then they're going to host Portland State before they come down to LA to play USC. And then Washington, they've got their Apple Cup with the Cougars, Utah State, and Eastern Washington University. What's interesting is there's only 2 road games in there. I mentioned Oregon at Oklahoma State. That's the back end of their home and home. Yeah. And then UCLA is actually traveling up to the Bay Area to play Cal. Now, I'm hoping, to your point that you were talking about, when I found out initially that USC was playing San Jose State before it got officially announced by the school, I also was told that Trojan fans should anticipate 2027 and 2028 a home and home series with USC and a Power 4 team. Mm-hmm. So I think this is just kind of a little bit of a glitch in the matrix right now with USC out of conference scheduling because of the whole Notre Dame fiasco.
Yeah.
But fans probably shouldn't be surprised if Cal or Stanford is that team in 2027 or 2028. And the reason why I suggest that, if USC is going to give up a home game in one of those 2 years, from a travel perspective, all those other teams in the Big Ten Conference, they're all kind of smushed together.
Yeah.
USC can say, all right, you know what? Let's put a little bit of that old school Pac-12 flair back on the plate.
Yeah.
And you're talking about an hour flight for the fans and for the team. And even though it's still an away game, anytime USC's ever played at Stanford or Cal, you get a good travel crowd. So would that work for you if you had USC playing one of those schools, and then scheduling a couple of other Group of 5 teams? And the reason I ask that is the Big Ten Conference is the only conference of the Power 4 that doesn't require their teams to play 10 Power 4 level teams. The SEC does.
Yeah. They also play 8 conference games, so that's another issue.
No, not anymore. They're playing 9 plus.
Now they do. Yeah.
But it's still 10 Power 4 teams. However you shake it out.
No, I hate it. It's you should be at the minimum be playing 10 Power 4 games, not 11. That's just how it should be. We should be playing each other. There's 12 teams that make the playoff now. There's no reason for us not to be playing each other.
And that's expanding. We know that's going to expand sooner than later.
Yeah, no, like next year. Yeah. Right. So exactly. So we should be playing each other. As far as what you say with the potential Cal and Stanford, I would love it. One, like you said, it's close. That was how much a game changer that was going to an Oregon game versus, whoever you want to pick, Notre Dame, Illinois, like whoever you want to pick. Like that was so much. That was so convenient. I loved it. You're up and down, right? It's so quick. But then, like you said, I mean, it's old school Pac-12. It's kind of what we want to see. Like we've lost all these games, obviously, because of conference realignment. It'd be nice if we're not going to play in conference games, that they play as the non-conference games. Now that they're not conference games, that they play as the non-conference games. It's nostalgia. It's old school. They've been playing each other forever, since the 1900s, 1920s, whatever it is. The fans want to see it. Both sides want to see it. That's how it should be. I don't know why it's taking this long.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think the reason why it's taken this long, and I don't want to put too much I don't want to do too much finger pointing at USC, but when you're doing a business negotiation, and that's what they were doing with Notre Dame, and obviously that deal fell through. Yeah. You have to have a contingency plan in place. And, USC can say, Lincoln Riley can say, hey, we were taking Notre Dame at their word that they play us anytime, and yada, yada, yada. Look, only naive people think that way, right? Yeah. If you're in a high-level business negotiation, Notre Dame had their contingency plan ready 5 minutes after the news was announced.
Yeah, they did.
USC's been scrambling to get a San Jose State.
They have.
This has to be the only time this happens. Next year, I'm with you. I would rather be 9 conference games. Give me 2 Power 4 teams, and give a group of 5 team.
Yeah.
And if one of those 2 Power 4 teams is one of those old school, Pac-10, Pac-12 teams, great.
Yeah.
Great. You can handle
I think that would eliminate so much of the discussion on we're picking the 12 team. At the end of the day, when we get to about 10, 11, 12, we're just picking off of bad resumes. Oh, They only beat this team, or they only beat this many Power 4 teams or this rank wins. I'm like, they're all bad resumes at that point when we get to that point and kind of selecting. This kind of evens it out. If you're going to have anything, at least have this is a clear top 4. This is the clear 7, 8, 9, 10 teams. I think that would help if everybody's vastly or similar to just the same schedule.
Right. And this is why I said at the top before we go into the next segment, why USC left no margin for error. You obviously they're going to win these games, but now how you win these games in the eyes of the voters is going to matter, because you've got a tough conference schedule with Ohio State and Oregon and Indiana.
Yeah.
You can't afford to lose more than 2 games in conference.
No.
Because you don't have anything out of conference to kind of lean on and say, hey, look, we did this.
Yeah. So, can I say what I do like about it? The 3 games?
Sure.
I like it in the standpoint that, right, who is it the first game? First game was Missouri State last year, right? Starters were done by halftime. So we really got to see all these guys in the second half. And I think a lot of these position battles aren't going to be settled certainly not in spring. I don't think they're going to be settled in fall camp. Do you remember this was early 2010s, the Alabama Nick Saban days? They would use those early games as the quarterback competition.
Sure.
That was we're going to run through these teams in the first 2 weeks. Haven't decided on who my guy is in spring and fall. I'm going to use these games. This guy's going to play. This guy's going to play second, and then I'll flip flop the second game, and by the third game I'll make a decision. So I think we'll see a lot of, not necessarily that way, but I think a lot of it, as far as especially positions like corner depth, defensive line rotation, especially the young receivers, they're going to use those games as, I guess this is what rotation is going to look like moving forward. They'll get cut down by the time they get to that Rutgers game. By the time they get to Oregon, they're going to know who their guys are, and they're going to be able to do it in a game setting.
Absolutely. That is definitely the positive, what you want to shine the light on. But, outside of that, which, is kind of stating the obvious, but it's a great point. There's no benefit of USC preparing themselves for tough games with this type of non-conference schedule. That's
no, that part. No, absolutely not. Yeah, that's not going to do it. Obviously, we saw it with Jayden in the beginning game. He was completing 90% of his passes, 9 touchdowns. It was we're playing. He's supposed to. This is what he is. So like you said, no, I understand from that standpoint. Just trying to give a little positive twist.
No, absolutely. No, I hear you. I'm glad. Good cop, bad cop. You're the good cop today. All right. Next segment. Next segment, we're going to talk about the offensive power rankings. Like I mentioned, talked about the defense on yesterday's episode. You and you'll help me out with the offense of this episode. That's coming up next.
I'm Kalia Butler, host of Locked On Women's Basketball, and this is Mazda's Women's Basketball Snapshot, celebrating the work no highlight reel can ever capture. South Carolina rolled past Ole Miss 85-48 to clinch a share of the SEC regular season title and lock down the number 1 seed in the conference tournament. The Gamecocks extended their win streak over Ole Miss to 21 straight. UCLA dominated Wisconsin 80-60 to secure its first outright Big Ten regular season championship in program history. The Bruins improved to 27-1 overall and remain unbeaten in conference play. And number 12 TCU stormed back from a 13-point fourth quarter deficit to beat Iowa State 80-73. The Horned Frogs now sit alone atop the Big 12 standings and are 1 win away from clinching another regular season conference crown. These moments are earned off the clock, those long before the lights ever come on. The sweat, the fakes, the doubt, the scrapes, and coming back for more every time. Mazda puts that same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work, that defines you. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you.
Have you ever thought about experiencing the NBA Finals live in person? Well, FanDuel is giving you the chance to turn that dream into a reality with their NBA sweepstakes. Here's how it works. Use your profit boost on any NBA future, and you'll automatically be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for 2. That's right. The flights, the tickets, the hotel, everything, the whole experience. And if you're already kind of looking at the board and thinking, which team's going to make that deep run? This is the perfect time to lock it in. And now, not only can your pick cash out for you, it could also send you to the NBA Finals. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Plan your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, so I broke down on yesterday's episode the defensive side of the ball. Again, defensive line, linebackers, cornerbacks, safeties in descending order. So the defensive line, surprise, just like last year, is going to be USC's strength on that side of the ball. Now you're here, Kendall, and you're going to help me out with the offensive side of the ball. Here's my power rankings. Tell me if you agree or how you would reshuffle the deck from strongest to hey, guys, get in the weight room, get stronger, that type of designation.
Yeah.
So I got the offensive line, number 1. And for me, it's more than returning all 5 starters. I mean, Coach Hansen had right now serious depth and options to kind of play around with. Second, I got running back, Waymond, King Miller, in my opinion, best duo in the big conference. Changed my mind. Third, Jayden Maiava. Yes, that is your quarterback room because if he goes down, that number drops down below the tie between the wide receivers and the tight ends. So that's my rank. How would you rank the offensive position groups from strongest to needs to get better?
I think I agree.
Okay.
I think if you polled people, the offensive line would be the unanimous. I think we would all. I think it, like you said, it's much more than the starting group. Like that them losing some of their starters last year was that a lot of these guys played, like Treater and Miller, all these guys that got valuable reps, and those guys are your second string. And then you have this obviously awesome freshman group that comes in. And I really like what Zach Hansen just did with the group as a whole and their development. So I think they get a second year with that. Running backs, yes. Like you said, if not, it's one of the best in the country, right?
Okay. I said that too. I'm glad you're rubber stamping that.
Yeah, it could get kind of scary what I think they could be with them if those 2 guys stay healthy and what they could be on the offensive line, what I think that they might be. You mentioned it at quarterback because it's question mark after Jayden. It's not a Jayden thing. It's mark because is Sam your guy if they go down? I don't think you don't want to be in that situation. You don't, right? Jonas is obviously, you don't know, he's a freshman. He's 17, right? He's really young for his age too. I mean, for his grade. So you just don't know, right? Sitting here in February, you just don't know. Receivers, I put receivers above tight ends because I think you know more about the receivers because you have to know. Because I'm a big Terrell Anderson guy. I think he's gonna be phenomenal. And then you got just a boatload of freshmen, right? And then tight end, you have high upside for Bowman. Like you think what he can be, but you don't know yet, right? Because he hasn't played. That's just that's the reason I don't put the tight ends because he hasn't played.
Let me ask you something real quick since you're talking about the tight ends. Is Tucker Ashcraft is he kind of sneaky? You know, you kind of slide him in there like, okay, we got that physical presence. He's played at Wisconsin.
Yeah.
He knows how to play, you know, smash mouth type of football.
Mm-hmm.
Does that maybe separate? Because for me, with the wide receivers, Tanuk Hines, he's your, you know, the true sophomore that's returning. He's your leading receiver. Mm-hmm. Terrell Anderson, I agree with you. He's going to be a big help. But you're moving Zacharias Williams inside to play the slot. And as you just mentioned, after that, it's pretty much freshman.
Yeah.
Who's going to step up and be wide receiver 3?
Yeah, it's for one. I thought Zacharias was already playing in the slot. I don't know why he wasn't playing in the slot last year. I thought that was always the best. Maybe because obviously Makai is going to take all the reps in the slot last year. But I thought that was the best position suited for him anyway when he was coming for Utah. So that's a good position. And then with the freshmen, I think these kids are so good. I think they're really, really good. I don't think people really know. And I think it's right. And because we saw what freshman receivers can do. I think put Jeremiah Smith in his own category because I think he was an alien out there for Ohio State. That's its own thing. But Malachi Tony was obviously phenomenal for Miami too. I think they could have somebody that's kind of that caliber. They may not have the stats because I think they have just a wider receiver room. So it kind of gets, you know, littered around a little bit more, but I think they could have somebody of that caliber. They're good. I think Booby Feaster the fact that he's gonna be 17 next year is gonna be insane.
And he's not even on campus yet.
He's not even on campus yet. And he'll be ready to go. He'll step in. He'll be ready to go. He's one of the more decorated receivers in the state of Texas, and at least in recent memory. Moses, phenomenal. Dixon Wyatt if Ohio State wanted you to play receiver and they thought that highly of you, I think that's massive that he's staying and going to USC. And again, with the tight ends, I am curious to see about Josiah Jefferson because he's a raw prospect. He's got a basketball background. And I think Savage is phenomenal with his player development. We saw McCree and Lyons take a massive leap. And the guy has just talking about Josiah Jefferson, he has all the tools. So I'm really curious to see what he starts to look like when he has this full offseason and going into the season with just having Savage around.
Well, here's the other thing. You know, we didn't even mention it, and he got a lot of run during the bowl game. I know the staff is, and Chad Savage particularly, is really high on Neela Tupou.
Yes.
Another really athletic type of body. And is this the year that Walter Matthews, all 6'7", 250 pounds, and vertical leap forever?
Yeah.
Is this the year that he finally shows up? Or as Marvin Powell would tell me, Marc, teach him how to slide step and how to punch and get him in that tackle room. Which is it?
Yeah, maybe either or. We'll find out. But no, they have options at tight end. It's just, I think we've seen a little bit more of the receivers coming in. That's the reason why. I don't think tight end is not a weakness. I don't think it's a weakness. I don't think you're going to have a weakness.
That's why I have tight end.
Yeah. Especially with Savage as a coach. I really enjoyed hearing him talk this past Friday because he sounds like a coach, like I'm talking like a head coach, which he probably will be in short order. He's just buttoned down from recruiting to player development to the way he talks. He talks about having his players all having details. You could tell that's the way he is as a person, the way as a coach. He's excellent. So I think they'll be fine in those two departments.
I agree. And the name we haven't even mentioned, and he's the oldest of the group, is Carson Tabarachi. So watch him just explode and, do Lake McCree type of stuff. And that'd be great if he does.
Yeah.
So one of the questions that was asked at the press conference with the assistants was, is it possible we see a lot of 13 personnel because there's so many bodies in that room to utilize. So it'll be interesting. It will be interesting. All right, we got one more segment to go. You and I, we're going to talk about some of these penalties that they want to levy against schools. This one might be right up there with the sanctions they gave against USC. You and I, we're going to talk about that coming up in the next segment. The biggest stretch of the college basketball season is almost here. The buzzer beaters, the bracket busters, all those unforgettable moments that everybody talks about the next day. Being there live or something like that, that's bucket list type of stuff. The hard part is always getting tickets, those long queues, the prices are jumping around, those lame surprise fees when you go to checkout. The Game Time app gives the fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and the experiences, and you do it in just a few taps. It's really, really, really simple to use. The Game Time guarantee means 100% legitimate tickets delivered on time at the best price. And here's the best part. Fees are included in the price you see. What you see is what you pay, period. End of the thread. The seat feature, love it. It's a game changer. You can see a panoramic view from your seat before you buy. And those zone deals let you pick the section, and you're going to save even more while Game Time selects the seats for you. So no stress, no guesswork, just a smooth experience from start to finish. Take the guesswork out of buying college basketball tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. All right, for all of you energy drink guys, 5 Hour Energy. Welcome to the 5 Hour Energy Flavor Draft. Yep. We're looking at every aspect of the draft to let you know which tasty flavors are the best and which just might be the sleepers. The board is set, the flavors are ready, and only one is going to take the top spot. You should know right now that the 5 Hour Energy guys, they have a lot of upcoming stuff going, a lot of innovations planned. I would love for them to maybe design a flavor, like remember eating those Fruit Loop cereals? I want the Fruit Loop flavor. So the first 5 Hour flavor on my draft board that they have up is strawberry watermelon. It's sweet, it's tart, ultimate flavor duo. I mean, like Cardinal and Gold, some flavors were just meant to go together. And then the underrated flavor on the draft board for me is the confetti craze. Yeah, check this out. Delicious blend of rich and buttery, freshly baked confetti cake, smooth vanilla frosting, a sprinkle of sweetness in every sip. Sign me up. So find your favorite flavor of 5 Hour Energy shots available online at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. All right, Kendall. So the NCAA is trying to flex their authority like they still have some power around here. And this time, I actually think, believe it or not, I think they would have the support of 98% of all head coaches in college football. Mm-hmm. When you think about it, I think the NCAA might be getting it right here. They're going draconian. They're going USC type of sanctions. And I think this has a lot to do with what was going on between Ole Miss and Clemson, right when the transfer portal was closing, still open, kind of a gray area. Anyways, these are the proposed penalties for teams that bring players in outside of the transfer portal window, whatever that designation is. So the FBS Oversight Committee recommendation for penalties against schools that add players outside of the transfer portal window. Head coach would be prohibited from all football recruiting and on-field coaching and administrative duties, including team meetings, for the first half of the season. So through the first 6 games, head coach, go take a sabbatical, leave the program. Another penalty also, schools would be fined 20% of their football budget. That's a significant number.
Yeah.
And then here's the other one. Schools would be required to reduce the number of roster spots by 5 for the next season. Now, I know we're up to 105-man rosters. Whip-de-freaking-do. Yeah. But those are some pretty harsh penalties when you just look at it from a surface level. What say you?
Hefty. Those are hefty penalties. Those are damaging penalties. You can kiss that season goodbye, that's for sure.
Well, Michigan can handle it, but it'll catch up to them eventually, right?
We'll see. Yeah, They may have lucked out with some recent drama to help them out. We'll see. No, those will catch people's attention. I think a lot of the tampering stuff is people know it's going on, but you don't want to. Dabo's the one that really kind of opened things up because you don't want to. Teams don't want to report it because they're doing it too.
Right.
Like if you're like, pick a school, you can't complain about somebody tampering their other school because then somebody can report you because you've been doing it too. Dabo, we know because he doesn't use the transfer portal, right? This is kind of the first year that he's actually really used it. And then he's found out kind of this is the reality of the transfer portal. And he's kind of the first one to speak out because you can't go back to him.
He wasn't ready to swim yet. Absolutely.
He wasn't ready, yeah. But you can't go at him because he hasn't done it, right? These are good. These are good penalties. This is what it should be. We should have, like you said, the NCAA has zero power these days. It's a heated debate. But we need some kind of guidelines, and seems like the first step in actually having some in any area, right? There's no guidelines in NIL or transfer portal or pretty much anything. These are the first set of guidelines and ones that are very, very necessary.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to have a vote on it April 14th and, try to get everything finalized and get it all, legitimate. But, if that's where they're starting.
Yeah, it's a good place to start.
That's a great start. That's a fantastic start. But I'm interested to see, do they get even stricter or do they try and, maybe dial it back a little bit? You look at that
just overall penalties.
I'm sorry?
You talk about just penalties overall? About
well, let's just start with 20% of a school's football budget.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. I mean, think about Ohio State, USC, Oregon. Any pick your SEC school with Lane Kiffin. I mean, 20% of what? 100 million?
Might be a generous 100 million, but little.
Maybe that's on the conservative side.
Yeah,
you understand my point.
That's long-term damage.
Yes. Just like those sanctions that they levied against USC for no good reason, that did some long-term damage. I want to see if certain programs will follow protocols or still try and find. We know everyone's going to look for a loophole.
Oh, always. Yeah. There's a million anything like right. Just be like Trinidad Chambliss and go find a judge that'll favor in your,
Because you've gone to a 105-man roster, I think where you really need to hit it, you have to drop that number by 15. Get it close to that old 85-man roster, which is still pretty significant. I mean, if you can't win with 85 scholarship players, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does. It'll affect your depth. And if we're being honest, I don't even know how much of an effect that rule would have because of the transfer portal. So if you all short in certain areas, you get caught, with your hand in the cookie jar. Just go to the transfer portal, get a, better and experienced player to fill that role, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe that's another rule. You can't use the transfer portal for a year. I didn't see that in that rule.
That's a good one.
I didn't see that in that stipulation.
That's a good one. I like that one. No, we can put that one out there. That's a good one.
So, the name is Marc Kulkin, write-in ballot for Commissioner of College Football.
Yeah, you're cutting teams off at the waist with that one. Yeah.
Let's hope someone in the NCAA heard me.
Yeah.
And they follow through on that.
Some kind of rules. This is a good step. This is a good step. There's obviously some things you're not going to be able to change or go back to, or that's just kind of sports in general, right? Things change and people just kind of get used to it. Having some kind of rules is a great step in kind of fixing some of this stuff.
Without a doubt. That's one thing. I'm a big proponent of this. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think especially kids, young men in sports, they want rules. They like rules. They know discipline's good for them. It would be great if their mentors started at the top of their own discipline. And that means stop cheating, stop doing stupid stuff. Stop putting your school and your players in a position where they're going to suffer because you got greedy.
Yeah.
So anyways, all right.
One day.
There you go. Yeah, hopefully. All right, Kendall, thanks again for doing this.
Yeah.
As always, you're always invited. There's no beef between he and I.
We're all good over here.
Yeah, we're all good here. And you'll be back again soon. So until that next episode, everyone, you know what to do. And don't forget, spring camp next Tuesday, March 3rd. We'll be there. Have all that information for you. So until then, everyone.